Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our new studio. My name is Adrian, and I'm the CEO and founder of Career Agility International. And Yan, our super coach, is here with us today as well.
Hi, good morning, everyone. It's a happy Friday.
Happy Friday, and welcome to our new studio office, upgraded equipment. Man, I had such a fun time installing all these new toys.
It was quite painful. It was very painful, but we've got this new system with the microphones and some lighting.
Yeah.
And the camera is still the old one.
Yeah.
We're using our original
But
camera.
it's our new kind of newish office. So we decided to convert it into a studio because, it's where all the action is and we thought it would be nice. But if you're joining us for the first time, we are Career Agility International and we are here to answer all your most pressing career questions. And today we have a very special episode because since we figured out it's the new setup in the new office, new studio, we're going to get up close and personal with Yen and myself, and we're going to share with you a little bit more about some of the strangest adventures we've had.
It comes from the fact that we've got between us over 50 years of experience. Adrian headhunted for a
decade-ish, yeah.
Over 10 years,
yeah.
And coaching for about
thereabouts,
10 years.
Yeah.
So give or take, so that's 20 years altogether. I headhunted for about 8 years in the mid-market space, and I've been coaching for about 15 plus more. So in combined our experiences, of course we've had many a conversation about some of our challenges and our stories to share with each other. So we're going to combine all of that and sort of sanitize it and share some of the stories with you.
Yeah. So Ian, what actually made you decide to pivot from headhunting over into career coaching?
The biggest reason for that was my children. I had at the time 3 young children, and headhunting was a very long day type of activity. It's a long day. It's a long week. And very quickly,
it's very time intensive.
I just had kid number 2 at the time, and I was working off my maternity leave. We had 4 months of maternity, and I decided to come back to work after 3 months, and I thought I could do it, right? So 4th month was I used those days to do like 4-day weeks. But I found out instead of doing 4-day weeks, I was actually doing 5 days of work in 4 days, which was worse. So I decided at that point to focus on my family, which is why I decided to go into career coaching, which gave me a lot of time and control over how and when I worked.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. That was no regrets, right? Moving into...
No, not at all, because it's been a good 15 years. I guess at that time when I was thinking about pivoting and doing this change in my career, it was also to ensure that I did not lose touch. So I never actually left the career space. I stayed in the career space because headhunting is just across the table is the coaching. Right? So on the one side, we were helping candidates land. On the other side, we were helping candidates land.
Yeah.
So it worked out. It worked out, and I'm still here. The kids are now 20, 18 and 15, and I'm still here. But of course, career agility has eaten a lot of my time.
Yes, very productively,
Thank
I
you,
must
Mr.
say.
Chu.
Of course, but we're having a lot of fun of it. So, that's cool. And I think, you've done a fantastic job, and helped me together. I think both of us together, we've helped like so many people over the years, and it just dawned upon me that career agility is actually 4.5 years old right now. So
it is.
We've been working together for that long. So, it's been amazing. And today we wanted to share with you some career tips, but more geared towards some of the stranger experiences we've had, and we've had many, haven't we?
So we've come up with a few questions. So I'm going to start. Okay, Adrian, I'm going to ask you what has been your most interesting case to date, either as a headhunter or as a career coach?
Well, I actually had this very interesting individual. This was during my headhunting days. Okay, so I had this very interesting individual, American guy. Okay, in his late 30s, and this was back in 2005. What happened was that I interviewed him and I saw his CV. He's on technology, and he had so many unexplained gaps in his. He was really articulate guy, very good, unexplained gaps in his career story. Okay, and interestingly, those gaps coincided with his trips to Russia.
Okay.
And those were in those were in the 1990s ish, okay. And
I'm
coincided.
going down that other path, right? He was what's a double agent.
He asked him what do you do there? Oh, I went there to open the markets for my technology company I was with.
Right.
Can you give me details? I can't. And I kept asking him about each private story. He says, I can't. I have an NDA. I can't. And it was totally. I was very amused, and I asked another one of my senior partners in a headhunting firm I was at,
Yeah.
and he told me the guy's a spook.
Yeah.
He's a CIA
double agent.
No, double agent. He was just an agent. He's not a double agent, but it's an American guy. So, and interestingly, he was in the software security space.
But it's all speculative.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
It's either that or maybe
you cannot confirm.
You cannot confirm, not deny what it was.
Right. That's interesting.
So my question for you is this: if a candidate does have questionable gaps in, can a candidate say, I can't tell you because I signed an NDA?
I've had those situations many a time. I've had candidates who worked for very confidential in a confidential type role for the government, and they put very little information, just a generic scope.
But what if it's very I can't even tell you what I do there.
It was so generic.
Yeah.
This person worked for a specific,
tell me your proudest achievement there. I can't tell you. If I told you, I've got to kill you.
Literally. So the candidate that I interviewed literally said, I can't explain it because it's national defense. That's it. So he had 8 years of experience in something, and
that's going to be tough to go for an interview.
I think that's a good point. That it's really tough if you have been working in a specific space and you're trying to pivot out from, say, government.
Sorry, you don't have the clearance for me to tell you.
Right, from the government from public sector into private sector. Sometimes that transition can be very
okay.
Very
if you're in the government sector, yeah, I mean sometimes and it's clear that you're in some defense organization,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
But if you're in the private sector, and then it's I can't tell you what I did there because everything I did there was NDA.
Yeah.
I smell BS when I hear if everything you're doing is NDA, then
especially if there's like lots and lots of them.
Yeah.
Over a period of say 10 to 20, 15 years or something like that, then that could be a problem.
Yeah, you will really have to convince me really, really bad. So that was one of my strangest cases because I was trying to figure him out. I could not figure him out.
Did
and
you
I was
manage
very
to place
young.
him?
No.
Because it's November, December.
That's explainable.
Explainable.
Yeah, that's explainable.
January rolls around and she's asking me what's going on. I said, well, just keep the individual, keep the hiring manager warm.
Yeah.
And then early February, Headhunter 1 contacts her for that job.
Okay.
She then asked me, what do I do? Because I'm talking to the hiring manager. I think this is the same job.
Okay.
So I said, why don't you talk to the headhunter and dig a little bit deeper and confirm for a fact that this is the same job, but it's the same company.
Yeah.
And then February passes and early March, Headhunter 2 approaches her for the same job.
Okay.
In February alone, two more headhunters, so 4 headhunters altogether.
Seriously?
Approached her for that very job, and so she got a little bit annoyed. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So I told her, you need to find the hiring manager. But she was at that point thinking it's not quite right.
Yeah.
This is back in the day when we were still doing SMS.
Oh, okay.
And it's not so appropriate. You pick up the phone and you want to contact the person's personal assistant, not the person directly, that sort of thing. So there was a lot of undercurrents. So I said, look, the only person who knows what's going on is the hiring leader.
Okay.
So it was messy.
Did she talk to the hiring leader?
Turns out, so let's just summarize because this story can go on forever. Turns out that the hiring leader was having a separate battle with another stakeholder over the person that they wanted for that role. Oh,
so there's so much backstory to it.
Correct. There was within that organization, there were 2 or 3 political factions, and the stakeholders all could not agree.
Wow.
And then to cut a long story short, they offered her the job in the end.
Did she take it?
But she had nothing else in the pipeline, so they offered her, I think it was a little bit under what she used to get, but it was better than nothing. But the biggest issue was that they promised her, because the mandate was very big, they promised her a specific band and title. It was 1 level lower. They promised her a number of headcount. It was 50% of the headcount promised, and yet she was expected to move mountains.
Oh no! So how long did she stay on the job?
She stayed.
Wow, tough cookie.
And I ran into her a while later, and she was very, very philosophical about the fact that it's just a job, and you do what you can. And that's the thing, right? The I guess the moral of the story, if I'm sharing this story to our listeners, is that all jobs are going to be challenging.
Yeah.
And I'd like for everyone to remember that it's not just the landing, it is the work. So after you get the job, there's still this other mountain that you need to climb.
Yes.
And that journey is very long. It's about thriving in an ambiguous environment full of, I guess, the waters might
and that's what you're
sharks.
hired for. That's what you're hired for. Especially if you're being paid top dollar for it.
Yeah, I mean, even if you, the fact that you agreed to a specific price, that you have an obligation or duty of care, and it's not just, you don't just come to us to be myopic and say, look, I just need a resume done and I want to just get the job. Once you get the job, then what?
Yeah, then what?
You know, then what?
Not the dog has caught the car.
Yeah, what do you do with it, right?
What do you do with
then
it?
you need to quickly switch your channel, and your frequency is all about ensuring longevity.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about longevity for the longest
time.
So
if you're in job search mode, or if you've already landed, sometimes the coping in a new role takes a bit of time to adjust to, especially if you've been in your previous company for many, many years. Come talk to us as well, because we've been really useful and effective in helping clients to acclimatize and to thrive. But talking about strangest situations, I once, and this has got no career lessons whatsoever. Okay, this is just one of the strangest meetings I ever had. So I was supposed to meet this guy. This was way back then. Okay, I was supposed to meet this guy, whom I met 4 years previously to that date, and I was supposed to meet him in Spinelli's. I still remember that day very clearly. So he said, I'll be sitting by the window. Okay, he said, I'll be sitting by the window. So I walked in. And I stepped in, he waved at me. I haven't seen him in 4 years now.
Right.
So he waved at me, and I went, oh, wow, okay. I waved back. I went, hey, hi. I sat down. I said, hey, how are you? He said, I'm fine. How about you? So we both sat down and we chatted for a while.
I remember this story.
Yeah, and then no, but before that, he said hi and everything. I said, hey, hi. So I walked up to him, and he because I can't remember what I looked at. I shook his hand, and I found out he was missing a finger. And I remember the last time I shook his hand 4 years ago, he still had everything intact. But I was too polite to ask him.
Sure.
All right?
Yeah.
So I was talking to him, and he was talking to me, going, how's everything, how are the kids and everything. After 15 minutes, I realized that this is not the guy.
This is not the guy.
And he was asking me this, and he said, you're not Richard, are you? I was like, you're not Simon, are you? Oh, no, it's not. So we spent 15 minutes talking, and then, oh, shucks, I think we got the wrong meeting.
Wrong person.
It was just funny.
I'm sure it was very funny.
I apologized. I went off, and then the other guy. So it was those strangest things.
Did you finally meet your...
Yeah, I met my guy, and he was sitting across. That he really didn't recognize me. He was sitting across the other window.
Okay. I think you should have arranged to have like a flower on the lapel,
right?
Or a hat.
Okay, no, we've been talking too many spy stuff today, so that's one of the strangest meetings I've ever had. It was hilarious. I don't know but don't ask me why I'm talking about this on this Friday morning, because it's Friday, so I just want to chill a little bit more. But it was strange.
That's funny.
So let me ask you another question, okay?
Yes.
What was the strangest thing that a candidate ever did at an interview?
Nothing strange.
Or silly.
You've had a lot of strange candidates. I've never had overly strange candidates, but I had candidates who did not prepare, and if they don't prepare, meaning the candidate was late because they got lost. In Suntec City, there are 4 towers, 5.
Oh,
so 5, they got lost, and so they didn't show up for half an hour. But this one candidate got lost in Plaza Sing. There was 2 buildings, and I'm like, how do you get lost? There were 2 towers in that area.
So he did not recce the place before.
Didn't prepare. And I think some of the worst stories are when the candidate goes to the meeting room and meets the hiring interview panel, and the interviewer asks, so what do you know about us? And the candidate rattles off the mission statement that was on the wall.
Oh, wow. Hey, he's on point. He's on point.
He was shown out the door within 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So it's not I mean, off the top of my head, I mean, there were a lot of candidates who made all sorts of excuses for not responding,
Oh.
not signing the letter.
That's,
I had
that's-
candidates who did not start after they signed.
I remember you
told
told me
that.
a story about someone who didn't sign.
Yeah, they didn't sign.
Okay, never mind. Anyway, we had, and these are quite senior candidates.
Or the
no?
candidates who sign on the dotted line and then they don't show
Yeah, and they
up
don't shop on
for
day one.
work.
This is quite senior. Don't ever do that, by the way.
Yeah,
If you
no.
it ruins your reputation.
People have long memories.
Let me tell you my funny story. Okay, so I once had this candidate, quite a senior guy, Okay, quite senior, not senior as in old, but quite a senior level person. And he was supposed to meet my client at the Western Swiss Hotel. On the ground floor, there's a restaurant there. Okay, so I was there earlier. So I sat down with the client to warm him up and talk to him. I was sitting in for the interview, and this candidate now at the atrium of Raffles City was a Harvey Norman sale.
Right.
And this guy saw a fantastic deal on a printer, a laser printer, a big laser print. He went to buy the laser printer before the meeting, had it packed in a Harvey Norman bag. Okay, what is big, gigantic plastic bag?
Red colored plastic bag.
Plastic bag. He had it in hand and he sauntered into the restaurant, to the dining area where we were supposed to meet. And he plonks it down and he said hi, and they had a whole interview, and I was like, that's so unprofessional. He was carrying that bag full of, and after the meeting ended, the client asked me, really, he came to the interview with a Harvey Norman bag? It was like, seriously? Okay, moral of the story,
Optics matter.
Optics matter. And if you want to put the bag somewhere else first,
yes.
ask the concierge, or ask
Yeah.
the guy at the front desk or whatever it is. Can I leave it here first? Okay.
Yeah. Or buy it, leave it in Harvey Norman,
Collect it later.
and collect it later.
Yeah. Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
He just came with the bag. I forgot to add. He had another bag with the toners because the toners were on sale as well. So he came in like, I don't know. I was so embarrassed.
Optics matter. Sometimes you wonder, why we being so superficial? Why we judging people on the way they dress or the bag they carry?
Yeah, correct.
But there's a lot of truth to that. If I don't know you and I have nothing else,
impressions matter, right?
If I don't know you and I have nothing else to judge you on, I would look at the way you're dressed. And I'll tell you a story. I remember now. There was this.
All these stories are fun, aren't they? Okay, so
I found a candidate for a consulting company, and he went for the interview, and the hiring leader liked him. He was going for a second round with the general manager, who at that point with the general manager, the second round was a case study presentation because it's a consulting company.
Okay.
So he was given a case study and he was all ready and everything. The candidate's really good. I mean, decent individual. I liked him, and I really I was rooting for him, but not just because of my commission.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I had another candidate as well, so it wasn't either way. I made my money, but I was rooting for this person. He was really good. So he went for the interview, and he finished. And I called him and I said, "How was it?" He said, "Great." And then I called the GM, and I asked the GM, "What do you think of the candidate?" And the GM replied, "Okay."
Oh no.
And then she continued. He missed the belt loop.
Oh, as in the belt loop, as in the back, as in the belt.
At the back of his trousers, he wore a belt. He missed.
Hold on, let me check.
He missed one loop, and I was like,
no.
"Really?
It was a deal breaker for them."
So I asked.
What? It's a fashion company, is it, or
no, consulting company? So I asked, is this a showstopper? That's another term we use for deal breaker, right? Is this a showstopper? And she went, no.
But...
So, and I went, that is such a a stupid reason. I think in hindsight, I suspect the hiring manager liked that candidate that missed the belt loop, but the GM preferred the other candidate.
I think so.
And I've had other hiring leaders also feedback that candidates who wore tinted glasses, for whatever reason, maybe you have macular degeneration or something. I had another interviewer who complained that the candidate put the glasses on top of her head.
Like this.
and you know, for seemingly minor infractions, and you're wondering why. And if you think about it, so logic is that if I cannot trust you to put yourself together, how can I trust you to manage my
Once
deals?
again, it's so superficial, isn't it?
It is so
It's so
superficial, but I think it matters.
And
Optics
if you think
matter.
about being superficial, you know, I mean, we were going to talk about this. Let me share with you one story I had with a placement which I once was asked to do. Came when I was headhunting, and they wanted someone who was really, really smart. Okay, it was a very technical position, very, very smart position. And I scoured the market and I found a real ideal candidate. Okay, was this guy who was, just put it this way, a bit overweight. Okay. In fact, he was slightly more. I don't want to body shame here because there's nothing wrong with that. But and he was a fantastic guy. I loved him. You know, from the moment I set eyes on him, he was such a lovely guy. Okay, I still remember. I was supposed to meet him for the first interview, and he told me, I'm seated in the cafe. I'm the fattest guy there, and I think. Sense of humor, right? I love this guy. Sat down with him. I had such a great time talking to him. He was perfect for the role. I presented him to the client, and this client was an oil major. You know, was one of the big oil companies. The HR manager after interview said, "I don't like him." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because he's fat." I said, "Seriously?" He said, "Yeah." And he said, "Fat people are lazy." Okay, that is so. I was very disappointed in this HR leader which I was talking to, and I said that is the worst form of discrimination you can have.
Yeah.
So I was so shame on that individual, on the HR manager. No, they lost a fantastic talent that day, and I think it was really, really so. If you are a hiring manager out there, you know there are many different forms of discrimination that to talk about. And it's just very disappointing to see that happening. So people sometimes say that hiring managers interviewers discriminate on age, on gender, on race, ethnicity, you know, nationality and everything. I think to be biased, subconscious or fully conscious is human. But to let it affect your decision making, I think that's very unprofessional.
And I guess a word of caution to hiring leaders out there: just because the candidate is late does not mean that the candidate is incapable of doing the job. Maybe there's a valid reason. So we talk about the halo effect.
Oh yeah.
And so we assign values to behaviors.
True.
And without giving an individual a chance to actually explain it or something. So that's not fair. And so that's tough. But the world is, you know, I guess a lot of people don't have the time or the bandwidth.
And to that point, you know, if a person misses his belt loop, give him a break. Why do you let him go?
Or the person was late for the interview because they stopped to rescue
kitten on a tree,
an animal, right? There were so many stories of candidates who like, no, somebody just had a hit and run of a dog. Let's not focus on the human. Right? So assuming it's a proper emergency, but then it takes two hands to clap. So I think the candidate should call ahead and say, I'm going to be late. For whatever reason. Right?
I think it's only
that's polite
proper
and professional,
etiquette, right?
But if you didn't prepare and you're rushing or you overslept and you can barely get to the location on time, I mean that's on you, the candidate. It takes two hands to clap, I think. So
I think so too. That's why sometimes I think it's instructive to say that if the hiring manager is so judgmental, especially the person you're going to end up working with, I think it's a sign that you may not want to be working with this person after all. I mean, if you interview with, for instance, if you interview with somebody and the hiring manager is an MCP, right? How many children do you want to have? How many children do you have? Are you married? How many when's your next kid going to come along? Those are red flags in itself. So we do see, that's one of the red flags that you look at. It's a warning sign. To run for the hills. Thank you for your time.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye. So that's one of the strangest cases I've ever seen. I mean, a hiring manager openly discriminating HR manager. Actually, it wasn't a hiring manager, it was HR manager.
In that vein, I've had clients who offered candidates the job, and then the candidate went for a medical checkup, and they uncovered underlying conditions.
Oh
and
no.
then made a decision to either rescind the offer because of the underlying medical
Oh no,
conditions.
let me tell you what's even funnier. Okay, so I once had this candidate and I put her forward and she signed a letter of offer.
Yeah.
Okay. And 3 weeks later, she called me up because she was supposed to start in 2 months after the job, right?
Yeah.
About 3.5 weeks,
Yeah.
she's supposed to start 1 month later.
Yeah.
She calls me up, Adrian, I got bad news. I can't take the job.
Why?
I say, why? She said, because I'm pregnant. I just tested pregnant yesterday. I don't know if the company is gonna accept.
So
give me a
what was the outcome?
So I said, that's not bad news. That's great news. Congratulations. Why are you saying pregnant is not bad? I don't care about the job, So I said, so she said, it's okay if the company rescinds the offer because I'm not gonna go there, start work, and within 8 months, 6 months, I go on my 4-month maternity leave. It's not fair to the company. So I said, let me talk to the client.
Yeah.
Spoke to the client. Client said, no problem.
It's fine.
Just come.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I've had 2 stories like that as well. I've successfully placed women who
got pregnant.
Yeah. Or actual already pregnant, but got the job anyway.
I think it's once again, I think if you have a good chemistry, if you deliver your interview well,
or
and it's a good fit.
If that's a good fit. I think that's
it's good fit. They don't mind.
It's nice to know that there are human beings out there who can see the bigger picture and are focused on the longer game as opposed to myopic decisions. But
actually for that story, provide you a bit more context. The female HR. Why am I being mean to HR managers?
Qualify.
Okay. The female HR manager was not happy. The male, the guy hiring manager was okay with it. The female HR manager got angry with me. You see, how can this happen? I said, I don't know. Don't ask me how I know it was. I wouldn't know. It's not. I had any control.
How did your candidate get pregnant?
Yeah.
I think that's up to her.
Right? It's not my fault, It's like, not because he got a job and she celebrated it.
So you got scolded?
Yeah, the HR manager goes, how can you give me this type of candidate?
Right, yeah.
So it's like, but I spoke to the hiring manager. Hiring manager said, fantastic, let's do it. Because the hiring manager has 4 kids of his own. So he loves a very stable family. So you go to where you're loved, you go to where you're wanted. I think that's one of the most important lessons in any job interview or in any job switch.
Yeah. So Adrian, next question. What are some of the things that you find annoying when it comes to managing clients?
Managing career coaching clients.
Well, it could be coaching clients, it can be hunting clients, it can be. You've already dissed enough HR.
Okay. No, I'm gonna be kicked out of the next HR gathering. All my HR friends are gonna kill me. But I think, especially when it comes to career coaching, the client who comes, I love the client who comes to me, to us, who says, I do not know what I want. And that's okay. Let's find it together. The one which I find most problematic or most challenging is when they say, I don't know what I want, you tell me. You tell me what I should do.
Right.
So I can't tell you what to do. No, you tell me. You're a career expert. You tell me. You tell me what I should do. You look at my CV. You go rewrite my CV for me. You tell me what job I should do, and you land me that job within the next 1 month.
Yeah. We do get quite a few of that.
And cannot lah.
I mean,
it's like,
words,
it's not.
But it's.
Yeah. So it's a very coaching is a very self-driven activity, and if you are not seated in the driver's seat and telling us what you want, okay, and it's okay if you don't know what you want, because the part of the journey is the discovery, and it will help you along the way to discover what you want. Many of our clients come to us and when they are at a career crossroad, and when you're at a career crossroad, there's so many options ahead of you. In fact, sometimes there are too many options, and many of these options are not the right ones. So we help you to put aside the options that seem good on paper but may not be the right ones. But let's journey together. But we cannot give you all the answers because and we always joke about this. If you want all the answers coming to you, right? We're so politically incorrect about this.
Everything.
Yeah, I know. My one of my clients sent me a book, How to Advance Your Career, okay, by some feng shui master. Telling you, if you put this crystal there, if you put that there, if you dress in red for the first 4 Tuesdays of the month,
you wear your lucky underwear and your lucky socks.
And some people, that appeals to some people because they want to be told what to do rather than go out and grab stuff. You see, Now I'm gonna get very hateful messages from
That's
trade masters
funny.
now. I might be hacked. They might hex me. Oh no! But it's funny because when you do that, sometimes you're just taking a step back and letting chance.
I don't know. I believe that luck is manufactured.
Yeah.
And I was just having a conversation yesterday, I think, with one of our clients, in our session, and I was just explaining how all the activities that I assigned in terms of homework, right, the soul searching, but also the research, and the networking, which, by the way, I think everyone knows, but then the devil's in the details, right? So how do you go about it? So I gave this person a lot of work, and I told this person, this is how you manufacture luck. I cannot guarantee output, but by doing all of these activities, at some point in the next 5 to 12 weeks, something's going to happen. But you've got to keep doing this and trust in that process. And that's a very distinct way of looking at the world, because a lot of people think, okay, if my goal is to have something, an output, then I work backwards. If I put exactly this sort of input, I know exactly what kind of output I'm going to get, because that's linear and that's logical in any job operations. But in job search, it's not quite.
It's not quite.
It doesn't quite work like
not,
that. It's
not linear.
It's about having conversations and just putting it out there, planting a few flags and putting it out there.
Being dynamic.
It's very unique. But the luck will happen, and you sometimes think, and that's why we get this response. Hey, after I talk to Career Agility, I seem to be very lucky. We get that a lot.
We get that a lot. They say, oh, Adrian, you're our lucky charm. No, we're not your lucky charm.
Okay, you're using very nice words. Most people just say, hey, I found something. They don't seem to give us the credit. Okay. Not that we're asking for the credit, but there's some activities that you can put out to the universe, not the career crystal. But you put out you put out these activities, and it works. It does work.
It does. So what sort of clients, career coaching clients, have you encountered that are the best? What sort of do we really enjoy working with?
The very motivated types.
Okay.
The ones who see the light and they've been trying their own method for a while. And then we do some minor adjustments. That's what coaching is.
Yeah.
Having a soundboard, somebody to talk through a strategy, and then they land very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And they go on to thrive. We love those.
Yeah.
But even more loved are the ones who come back and say thanks, and better still, give us updates. Because sometimes they go off.
You don't hear from them.
You don't hear from them. It's kind of like me coaching my daughters and my son. Sometimes we walk through. Specifically, I've got one who I coach a lot. So I sit down with her and I say, okay, let's study together. We study together and she gets a good grade. It's her grade.
Yeah.
But when she doesn't get a good grade,
it's your fault. It's your fault, Mom. Yeah, it was so funny.
Oh, but anyway. So when the clients go off and they come back and they go like, hey, just want to let you know, an update, blah blah blah. And by the way, we're expanding. If you know, and they come back and they offer support to the rest of our own network of alumni of Career Agility. I guess we have our own little pod, right?
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
One thing that I'm totally amazed talking about own little pod is that in the past 4.5 years that we've been running Career Agility, we've had close to 400 plus clients, individual clients who form this community of ours, and it's just simply amazing how much love and how much support you can get out of it. And whenever we have an event, we run an event. Even clients from as far back as 2018, they turn up and they remember. And the interesting thing is, I do remember them as well.
And we journey with them because there will be ups and downs. Our clients from back then would come back, and sometimes they would share their successes, but they will also share their challenges, and then and they come back and we support them through those challenges so that maybe the amplitudes are not so stressful. It's not so high and it's not so down. It's kind of like let's play.
It's always going to be up and down anyway. Okay, the life is never a bed of roses all the way.
But the thing is, we help them. We support them through that roller coaster ride.
Yes, we're there for them.
Because all jobs are challenging, aren't they?
All jobs are challenging. And if a job wasn't challenging, it's going to be boring.
They won't be paying you for it.
And they won't be paying you for it. There's always the pain premium. The more senior you get. A lot of times that the challenge is not so much a job, but the people. around it.
Which is one of my biggest, I guess, issues when it comes to coaching, is clients who come to us a little bit too late, and
Oh
they always,
yeah, don't get
and
me started on that,
I
man.
always hear the statement, I wish I'd come to you earlier. Seriously, I'm not selling our services. I don't.
We are.
But please don't wait until it rains and then panic because your roof is leaking. And by then you're coming to me, yeah, I need a resume ASAP. I need it by tomorrow. I'm sorry, man. That process isn't just anybody that can give you a resume within 5 minutes. I can guarantee you the resume is not positioned properly.
And you know,
it's not the design, it's the content.
and if someone says they can do that and they're asking you for money for it, okay, you must go to ChatGPT. ChatGPT can probably do a better job with all the relevant keywords for you.
Yeah. We've seen those TikToks, and I think they're quite clever. I mean, if you can use some of those phrases and input that into your resume, go right ahead. But there's a lot of thought into it, and there's a process, and that process helps you to sort of crystallize your selling points.
One thing I want to interject here as well, okay? The type of client that I really feel bad for are those who are overly loyal to their companies.
Oh, that's
okay.
sad too.
So let me tell you a story. So last year, I had this individual who approached us sometime in February, okay? I had a conversation with her, and then after a while, she said, the company may be retrenching staff, but it's just 4 months away, 4-5 months away. So I think maybe I'll engage your services for a job hunt
in 5
months time. And I said, no, you should start your job search now. I said, no, I got no time because I need to settle. She's quite a senior person. All the closing, the shutting down operations and everything, a lot of work to do. And 4 months came, 4 months went. They promised her that the cutoff date was supposed to be sometime in June. But they said, no, we will still retain you for another 3 more months so that you can help close up stuff. But in June, they just cut her off, totally out of the whole system, locked her out the system computer.
Wow.
And she was a signatory to the local company formation. So she actually was kind of liable for lots of stuff that was going on as well. And they ran off without paying the bills for the office and rental and everything.
Awful.
So she had to go through legal and everything. And I said to her, then she came to us and we managed to untangle it for her. But she managed to say, she came to us and I said, Tia, you cannot be too loyal to the company. Okay, I'm gonna be burned at a stake for this.
Maybe it's not the company, it's the people in the company.
I don't know. I think what I always say is this. She said, and I quote her words, I need to be responsible to my stakeholders. And I told her, you only have one group of stakeholders you need to look after. Okay, it's your family, it's your own personal interest in yourself, right? You cannot go out and look after everyone's interests, especially if they're a company, okay? And rather than sacrifice your own.
That reminds me. So Alvin and I, my husband and I, we've been on a survivor binge.
Survivor.
It's the June holidays. It's the June holidays, and so I don't have to wake up too early anymore, except today. Thank you. And so we've been watching all the seasons that we've missed. And one of that refrain is very true. I am allied to my
tribe.
Group. Not necessarily my tribe, but there's that 2 or 3 alliance members. Until we're not.
Until you're not. Until you get stabbed in the back.
We're loyal until we're not. Because at some point in the game, we've got to start killing one another. And it's very true. And so, yes, you are perhaps aligned to your current stakeholders until some point in the future when things change, and then your alliance member goes and finds another person to ally with to kill you off.
But the stakeholder that's consistently by your side and you're responsible for, who will stand by you, are your family members.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Your spouse, your partner, your kids. That's why I always say
such a fun.
It's always
so fun to watch.
After the 36 seasons, it's like
I've been sleeping at 1 a.m. almost every day just because Alvin and I have been like watching Survivor, and we binged through a whole season in 2 evenings.
Too much drama, but it was fun. But the whole idea is still this, that you have to identify who your key stakeholders are, and it's critical that you start thinking about prioritizing them rather than the company, because the company is just a company, it's just a corporate body. If they are loyal to you, then they're good for you. But if they're not, then chances are they're not going to be, because the CEO is not responsible to you.
Yeah.
The
There's
CEO
no-
is
there's no
responsible to his
obligation.
stockholders.
Yeah.
That's all. Okay, to the
Yeah.
board, to the stockholders, because if it's up, if the company performance is not there, he's out. So always bear in mind, don't be too loyal to your company.
Actually,
I'm so
that,
terrible saying
I think that
but
statement is it needs qualification.
Yeah.
You do have to some sense
Okay.
of obligation to
yes,
your
that's why I said don't be
stakeholders.
too loyal. Rather, I did not say
And-
don't be loyal. I said don't be
and-
too loyal.
And I guess the point is to have that agility to foresee the future, to look at the trends,
Yeah.
to see the train wreck, potential train wreck. And if you see a potential train wreck coming, please go do something about it.
Yeah.
Don't hide and be too insulated.
Don't
a lot of
wait
people are too
until
insulated. Don't wait until you're shoved off the cliff.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's a crash, and then how? And then
Mm.
you require triage and bandages.
Or major surgery.
And then you delay your ROI. You
Yeah.
delay your ability to get back on track.
Yeah.
And then you lose maybe 3 months, 6 months of income. But
Yeah.
if you plan that ahead of time, and
Yeah.
I guess a lot of our success stories are clients
That's
who
why
get retrenched, but
don't-
because they get that retrenchment, but they land within a week because they've done all of that pre-work way ahead of time,
Yeah.
and in fact can engineer the timing such that they get both the severance and the job offer within a short time.
And
I think
remember,
that's
a couple of
had
our-
a few of that.
I remember a couple of our clients and even engineered sign-on bonuses. So it's like double dipping.
We've had a few of that,
Yeah.
and those are always the stories that we love. We love those stories. Yeah.
So that's why it's fun.
Anyway, time is up.
Time is up. If
9:15.
you have any, let's just check in and see. I don't think there are many comments
No.
because
Everyone's
this
on
one's
holiday.
everyone's on holiday. So it's let me see if there's any comments. The saddest thing is I don't have my
We
reading
can't
glasses
see
on.
it because the thing
I
is
don't have
too
my reading
far away.
glasses on. But if you do
If you
have
questions, please reach out to us at info@careeragility.org.
Yeah, and we're always here to listen. But in the meantime, this is the June holidays. Its second week is gone already.
Yeah, quite a lot of our clients are talking about the lull period.
Yeah.
A lot of clients are saying things like, "Well, it's been quiet in the office."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Now's a good time to plan your career, isn't
Yeah.
it?"
Now's the time to start networking and
Yes.
start talking to people in the market. So what we always say is, it's never a bad time to reach out to the people and just have conversations, because ultimately it's these conversations that will generate leads for you.
That's right.
And I think you should make it a habit. So and the weekends here, spend time with your kids if you have kids. If you don't have kids, this is the time, because it's a lull period. Just take a couple of days off, just chill out, and just enjoy it. Because next public holiday is gonna be in
I don't know.
National Day. It's gonna be in August.
I
so
think we have one in June. I think there's a Hari Raya
don't
coming.
make me happy.
It is.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
Hari Raya coming.
It's so sad. So sad for us, because it's like
the June holidays anyway.
yeah.
But I guess the point is don't wait until it's too late.
Yeah.
Don't What was it again? Your lack of planning is not my emergency. I think that's such a nasty statement.
What, your lack of planning is
It's
not my emergency? That's a terrible thing to.
But I hear it a lot in the corporate world.
Yeah.
When someone has got a fire they need to put out, and then
and
suddenly
because you didn't plan for
and
it,
you
and there's a
didn't plan
fire,
for
and then
it,
you
and
go
then
to the
you're like,
boss
hang
and ask for
on.
resources, or
it's too late. I don't
Yeah.
have enough. I have to So anyway, do keep an eye out in the market. Things are not so great this year, but there's always going to be hotspots.
yeah, to be pockets. Okay.
And reach out to us if you have any questions. info@careeragility.org.
Yeah, and have a great weekend ahead, and enjoy your remainder of the school holidays if you are in a position to enjoy the school holidays. Okay, just remember, if you're heading up to Malaysia, Singaporeans, be careful. Okay, because a local Singaporean comedian just dissed the entire country of
That
Malaysia.
person's not Singaporean anymore.
Yeah, she's a naturalized American, but
Not anymore.
but
I think,
but it doesn't matter, because so prepare a few
it's fine.
sharp pops to retort the next time you go up
Adrian,
there.
you're
Anyway,
digging a deep hole.
okay, never mind. It's all right. Have a good one. Okay, take care, everybody, and have a great one. Okay, bye.